Smile 2 just got a release date and found a new star in Naomi Scott. Let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk a little bit about Smile 2, which just found a lead in Naomi Scott. The horror sequel, which I'm very excited for, is of course a sequel to Smile from 2022, a movie that killed it at the box office last year, bringing in over $200 million on a $17 million budget. Also, its Rotten Tomato scores, if you even care. I'd love to be a critic, but I also don't want to be paid to give good reviews for movies I don't think are good. It has, with that being said, maybe this next point is pretty pointless, but 79% from critics, 77% from audience scores. So people generally enjoyed this film. They thought it was pretty cool. I liked it myself too. I will say some criticisms of the film come with the fact that it's very similar to some other movies that have come out in the past, very much so compared to It Follows and Drag Me to Hell especially. I will say it does follow a similar story structure to Drag Me to Hell, and it has that Sam Raimi feel to it, but it's a little more modern in its take, and I think all the characters bring a new flavor to the film as well. Kyle Gallner, Sosie Bacon, especially, I thought were excellent. It's really cool to see Jesse T. Usher and Cal Penn in other things, especially in horror too. Jesse T. Usher is of course A-Train from The Boys. He's fantastic in that show, and Cal Penn. Does this man need an introduction? I mean, come on. Harold and Kumar. Love that movie. As a fellow stoner, we've all seen that. We all have religious experiences watching all three of those movies. No, I'm so kidding. But Cal's great in this. Jesse T. Usher is a little, like, Jesse T. Usher's character is a little irrelevant, but he's still good. He's still a very good character. I think my personal only criticism of Smile, before we talk about the sequel, is I just feel like the characters of Joel, played by Kyle Gallner, and Jesse T. Usher, these two characters could have been merged into one, and it would have just been a little more efficient. It just kind of felt like by the time you got to the end of the film, Jesse T. Usher's Trevor character was a little pointless. You mush them into one, you just give someone a better character arc versus both of these characters being a little static, which isn't a bad thing. I just feel like you could have told that story in a more efficient way. That's my only criticism. Besides that, I loved the film. The other thing I'll say about Smile moving forward is we do have to spoil it to talk about the sequel. Otherwise, you might be looking at this headline, you're like, why isn't Sosie Bacon starring in the first movie? Well, here comes the spoiler. She didn't exactly make it through Smile. She didn't really make it. Didn't get through that one all too well. But I think that's what's so great. You know, some stories are tragedies, especially in horror. We love to see it. Parker Finn's Smile, an adaptation of his own short film, Laura Hasn't Slept, which, real quick, I'm so sorry, stars Caitlin Stasey, who is in the opening scene of Smile. She's the girl with the creepy smile. There's a lot of creepy smiles in that film, but the cover photo, if you think of Smile, you think of that creepy girl with the smile. That's Caitlin Stasey. She is also the star of Laura Hasn't Slept in a titular role. Laura. I love the word titular. It's fun. This will expand the world of horror. It will expand its world of horror next year with Smile 2. Deadline reports that Naomi Scott from Charlie's Angels and Power Rangers has been set to star in the Paramount Pictures untitled sequel. Untitled sequel, dude, it's going to be called Smile 2. What are you talking about? Are we going to call it Frown? Naomi Scott, though, let's talk a little bit about her. Naomi Scott is, of course, Jasmine in the Aladdin live-action remake, which, listen, as much as I don't care for these live-action remakes from Disney, because most of the time they're just made so that they can, keep the rights to those older movies or whatever, it's ridiculous. Aladdin, I will say, is definitely the best one. I don't have too many good things to say about it, but there is that, at least. They're apparently making an Aladdin 2. Man, that's ridiculous. Lemonade Mouth, though, is something that I know her from. My friends forced me to watch this because it was apparently a big hit on the Disney Channel back in the day. I never had Disney growing up. I was a Nickelodeon Cartoon Network kid. That's all I watched religiously. That's probably why I like horror movies. So many horror aesthetics in their shows, not so much on Disney. This was a good kids movie. This was a fun little kids musical family movie. If that's your vibe, check it out. It's fun. The Power Rangers 2017 remake, whatever you want to call it, reimagining. I don't know. I really wasn't crazy about this one. It was kind of weird. Kind of a strange one. And 2019 Charlie's Angels, another remake, so to say, another reboot of a franchise where I was just Naomi Scott's gonna be a great lead, I think, now that Sosie Bacon is most likely not alive in these movies. I imagine Kyle Gallner will come back as well, who's cursed. Maybe he talks to Naomi Scott, who's maybe another cop or something. That's kind of my ideas on where the plot's going. Because as this article we'll talk about later, plot details, of course, are under wraps at this time. But Smile 2 will hit theaters on October 18th of 2024, just a little over 2 years after the release of the original. Plot details are under wraps, like I was saying, but the first movie is about after witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter, Sosie Bacon, Kevin Bacon's daughter, starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. As an overwhelming terror begins taking over her life, Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. While we can expect the mysterious affliction haunting Rose and Smile will return, the bigger question now is whether Kyle Gallner will return. Which, once again, I can't stress that enough. I gotta see Kyle Gallner in this. I love him so much. He's so great. A scream king, as they would say. In Megan Navarro's review of Smile, she wrote, "There's a familiarity to the curse's nature and formula, drawing easy comparisons to several beloved horror films. Even still, it's well crafted and introduces a fresh feeling mythology with some genuine scares along the way. Smile makes for a solid enough crowd pleaser heading into the Halloween season." And I 100% agree with Megan Navarro, and I love the way that she worded this. There's a familiarity with it. It's not a direct ripoff of something. I feel like there's such a big difference between familiarity and ripping something off. Like, is Terrifier a ripoff of Halloween because it's a guy killing people basically kind of under a mask, under makeup, whatever? No, it's not. They're two completely different movies that might share a familiar flow of things. And that's okay. That doesn't mean Scream is a ripoff of Halloween. It just pays homage. That's why we love movies like Scream, where literally the characters are watching Halloween within the film as an homage to that film, to say thank you for making this. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. There's nothing wrong with familiarity with horror movies, but I think when you go to the point of just ripping something off, you're doing the exact same thing, that's when it sucks. Smile, to me, I don't think is that. I think there's a great creature design that is very original at the end of this flick. It has some genuinely terrifying moments, an excellent score, great performances all around, gorgeous cinematography, some hilarious moments. I could go on. I think Smile is fantastic. The more I watch it, the more it really grows on me. I think the best thing about Smile, though, to me, is that this was in the theaters at the same time as a new Halloween movie, and this movie outgrossed it. Like, dude, listen, if I were Parker Finn, I would have the cockiest ego on planet Earth. Like, you wouldn't be able to control yourself. Jesus Christ. Because of this as well, because of how successful the first one was, Parker Finn signed a multi-year first look deal with Paramount Pictures in the wake of Smile striking it big at the box office, and a sequel to the film was the first order of business. This news came so quick after those box office reports, dude. Like, they were like, yeah, Parker Finn, whatever you want, here you go. All the money Paramount has, you have the keys to the kingdom, buddy. So this is a great success story, man. I'm so happy for the guy. I'm so excited to see what he brings to the table next. While Smile might not have been my absolute favorite movie from last year, it was good and deserves the success that it's had. I'm glad that original horror is winning at the box office more than anything, too. Paramount CEO Brian Robbins is once again just like eating out Parker's butthole, saying Smile's breakthrough success is a testament to Parker's unique and fresh filmmaking, and we are thrilled that he will make Paramount his home. Basically saying, Parker Finn's gonna make us a lot of money. Hell yeah, Brian Robbins. Good on you, buddy. Parker knows how to keep people on the edge of their seat, and we're happy that we get to keep scaring audiences together. Also said by Paramount's Michael Ireland and Daria Sircek, maybe? Sircek? Me personally, I'm excited for Smile 2. I hope it picks up right where we left off with Kyle Gallner's character and maybe Naomi Scott's character working together for whatever reason to try to stop this thing once and for all. But how do you guys feel about Smile 2? That's my very passionate take on it. Leave me something about it in the comments below. And thank you so much for checking this out over on the second page. Subscribe to the main page as well, just KillJoy Jake. And thanks for hanging out with me today.